Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. The prompt corrective action framework enables supervisory intervention of RBI over banks, and the PCA framework applies to all banks operating in India. We have to select the correct statement. So first of all, I hope you know what is PCA. In layman's term, in just very slight concept, I can tell you that whenever a bank is going to make losses and not profits, and the deposit of the deposit holders are in danger, RBI steps in to take prompt corrective action. Okay, so the first statement is correct. Also, the second statement is correct. The correct answer to this question is option C. So the PCA framework enables supervisory intervention, remember this word, of RBI over banks at an appropriate time and ensures effective market discipline. The framework applies to all banks operating in India, including foreign banks. Remember this, operating through branches or subsidiaries based on breach of risk thresholds of identified indicators. That means if a prelims question gets made up that foreign banks are not under the prompt corrective action intervention or framework of the RBI. So remember, foreign banks which are operating through branches are also there. Okay. Moving forward, however, payments bank and small finance banks have been removed. Remember this as well from the list of lenders where prompt corrective action can be initiated. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Blue Revolution in India was launched during the 7th 5-year plan. India is the second largest exporter of fish in the world after China, as it contributes 7.7% to the global fish production. Sambar Lake is the largest inland saline wetland. So we have to select the correct statement. Okay. So first statement is definitely correct that Blue Revolution in India was launched during the 7th 5-year plan. Also, if you have occurred and appeared for the state PCS of UPSC, Uttar Pradesh, so you might be remembering this question of Sambar Lake, and many got confused because it was supposed to be, Sambar Lake was supposed to be the largest inland saline wetland. And also there was a confusion between Chilika, brackish, and that was brackish lake, Sambar Lake. So according to the question, it should have been Sambar Lake. So many of you might have got confused. Not an issue, just remember these tidbits. So yes, first and third are correct. Second is not correct. Why? Because India is the 4th largest exporter of fish, not second. Okay. So the correct answer to this question is 1 and 3. That is option C. Department of Fisheries, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India organized a webinar on promotion of inland saline water aquaculture. This was the 8th webinar in the series, being part of celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. India is the second major producer of fish. Remember this, second major producer of fish through aquaculture in the world. Also, India is the 4th largest exporter of fish in the world as it contributes 7.7% to the global fish production. Blue Revolution, it refers to the time of intense growth of worldwide aquaculture industry from the mid-1960s to the present day. It was launched in India during the 7th 5-year plan that went from 1985 to 1990, during which the government sponsored the Fish Farmers Development Agency. Remember this. Let's move forward. Sambar Lake, which is located in Rajasthan, is the largest inland saline wetland. Moving on, the West Bank, a landlocked territory often seen in the news, is bordered by Jordan to the east, Egypt to the south and west, Syria to the north. We have to select the correct answer using the codes. The first one is correct, that West Bank has Jordan to the east. The second and third are not correct. So the correct answer is option A, that is one only. Recently, on the sidelines of the Conference of Parties 26 summit in Glasgow, the Prime Minister of Palestine called for India's support to play a stabilizing role in West Asia by maintaining cooperation with all the related parties. West Bank is a landlocked territory bordered by Jordan to the east and Israel to the south, west and north. So as you can see the map, West Bank lies into Israel and also Jordan is there in the east. Okay. Let's move forward to our next question. Consider the following statements regarding the sixth mass extinction. And yes, we have covered about the sixth mass extinction in our in-news series today. Do watch it. It's very informative. It has been observed that the sixth extinction will be caused due to the catastrophic alterations to the environment. It is described as the most serious environmental problem since the loss of species will be permanent. We have to select the correct statement. The first is not correct. The second is correct. Let's know why the first is not correct. The correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. Recently, a paper published in the journal Nature Geoscience has come up with a new reason behind the first mass extinction, also known as the late Ordovician mass extinction. So far, the Earth has experienced 5 mass extinctions, and the 5 mass extinctions that took place in the last 450 million years have led to the destruction of 70 to 95% of the species of plants, animals, and microorganisms that existed earlier. And it has been observed that the sixth extinction is Anthropocene, that means human caused, and is more immediate than climate destruction. Thus, the ongoing sixth mass extinction is referred to as the Anthropocene extinction. It is described as the most serious environmental problem since the loss of species will be permanent. Let's move forward. The loss of these species have been occurring since human ancestors developed agriculture over 11,000 years ago. And since then, the human population has increased from 1 million to 7.7 billion. Consider the following statements. The SARFAESI Act 2002 provides the legal basis for the setting up of asset reconstruction companies in India. The ARCs are regulated by the RBI. We have to select the correct statement. Both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. ARC is a specialized financial institution that buys the non-performing assets from the banks and financial institutions so that they can clean up their balance sheets. An NPA is basically a loan or advance for which the principal or interest payment remained overdue for a period of 90 days. Remember the period. The Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act of 2002 provides the legal basis for the setting up of ARCs in India. And the Act helps reconstruction of bad assets without the intervention of courts. Since then, a large number of ARCs were formed and were registered with the RBI. The RBI has got the power to regulate the ARCs. Remember this as well. With reference to the light pollution, consider the following statements. Sky glow is one of the components of light pollution. It has environmental consequences for humans, wildlife, and climate. Both of them are definitely correct. So, C is the correct option. A recent study on the metropolis of Chicago, US, finds strong support for the relationship between bird mortality and artificial lighting. Of all the American cities, Chicago presents the greatest light pollution risk to migratory birds. The study was conducted using a bird collision data set collected at McCormick Center, which is one of the major cultural centers of the city, over a 21-year-long period. The inappropriate or excessive using of artificial light is called light pollution. The sky glow, the glow that we see in the night time, is an omnipresent sheet of light across the night sky in and around that causes difference in the biological clock of different microorganisms, especially birds. So, components of light pollutions include glare, that is excessive brightness that causes visual discomfort. Sky glow is the brightening of the night sky over inhabited areas. Light trespass, that is light falling where it is not intended or needed. Clutter, that is bright, confusing and excessive grouping of light sources. Light pollution can have serious environmental consequences for humans, wildlife and our climate, like disrupting the ecosystem and wildlife and harming human health. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. It became a Maharatna company in May 2010. It is India's largest energy conglomerate with roots planted back in 1975. It is headquartered at Bangalore. So we have to select the correct statement. NTPC is headquartered at New Delhi, not Bangalore. So the third statement is incorrect. Yes, it did become a Maharatna company in 2010 and its rootings go back to the year 1975 and it is India's largest energy conglomerate. So, first and second are correct, third is not. The correct answer is option B, that is 1 and 2 only. So, Power Minister R.K. Singh has said that NTPC is a special company and it is the largest provider of energy to the country, the most important input for growth. Addressing the 47th Raising Day of NTPC in New Delhi, Mr. Singh outlined the company's achievements. NTPC Limited is a central public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Power. Also, we have discussed all this. The aim is to provide reliable power and related solutions in an economical, efficient and environmental friendly manner, driven by innovation and agility, that means flexibility. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with regard to the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. It was set up in 2010 under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act in 2005. It works under the administrative control of the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So we have to select the statement which is not correct, which is or are not correct. The first one is incorrect because as the act was passed in 2005, the commission was actually set up in 2007 and not 2010. So the first statement is incorrect, second is correct. As we had to select the not correct one, the correct answer should be option A, that is 1 only. NCPCR member Pragna Pandey has said that positive parenting holds the key in protecting children and fathers should also be included in child care programs. It was set up in March 2007, the NCPCR, under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. It works under the administrative control of Ministry of Women and Child Development. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to Sierra Leone. It is a country in West Africa. It has a unicameral parliament and a directly elected president. So we have to select the correct statement. Both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. In Sierra Leone, at least 99 people have been killed following a massive explosion when a fuel tanker collided with a lorry in its capital, Freetown. Sierra Leone is a country on the southwest coast of West Africa, bordered by Liberia to the southeast and Guinea to the northeast. It is a constitutional republic with a unicameral parliament and a directly elected president who serves on a 5-year term with a maximum of 2 terms, like the US. And the US has maximum of 2 terms, but the president there stays for 4 years. Moving on, as you can see, the map of Sierra Leone. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to air quality index. It has been developed by the CPCB in consultation with IIT Kanpur. It has 8 categories of air quality. Carbon monoxide is not categorized as a pollutant in the air quality index. We have to select the correct statement. Actually, it has 6 categories of air quality, but 8 pollutants, of which carbon monoxide is also a part. So second and third both are incorrect. The first is correct, that it has been developed by CPCB in consultation with IIT Kanpur. The correct answer should be option A, that is 1 only. The air quality in the national capital is in the very poor category. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the air quality index of the national capital was recorded 383 this morning. It was launched in 2014. The air quality index with the outline 1 number, 1 color, 1 description for the common man to judge the air quality within his vicinity. The measurements of air quality is based on 8 pollutants, namely particulate matter PM10, particulate matter 2.5, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide. Ozone is also a part of it along with ammonia and lead, and it has 6 categories: good, satisfactory, moderately polluted, poor, very poor and severe. Moving on, it has been developed by the Central Pollution Control Board in consultation with IIT Kanpur and an expert group comprising medical and air quality professionals. Moving on to the next question. Mustafa al-Kadhimi, recently seen in the news, belongs to which of the following countries? He belongs to the country of Iraq. Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi has said that he escaped unhurt after a drone attack on his home inside Baghdad's high security green zone. A drone laden with explosives struck the building, injuring 6 of his bodyguards in an apparent assassination attempt, officials have said. Mr. al-Kadhimi, a former intelligence chief, was sworn into office in May last year. Moving on, Let's look at the practice question for our next segment. Consider the following statements. Solar photovoltaic uses concentrated solar radiations as a high temperature energy source to produce electricity. Solar thermal power systems convert solar radiation directly into the electricity. So we have to select the correct statement. Okay, so do answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.